women have just been, the backbone of community. Our communities were matriarchal. When white people wanted to do business with our family, they wanted to talk to my mother.
So my mom was a low-wage worker, making $2 and about 13 cents. Oftentimes, she would take me to work with her, and she would place me in the utility closet with her colleague who was taking care of me. My mother didn't make enough money to put me in childcare. But what's interesting is that she worked right across the street from the state capitol with the lawmakers who had the power to write a law that would increase her wages so that I could have childcare at that moment.
No, wait.
The law went into effect today that while the law's intentions are focused on equality in the workplace, critics are saying it may have the opposite result.
In Mississippi, women are half the workforce, but 3/4 of our state's minimum wage workers. The other thing that we have to work on is there is significant occupational gender segregation. Not only are women most of the low-wage workers, but they're also concentrated in low-paying professions.
8 out of 10 Black women are breadwinners of their families, but they're not making enough money. And to employers who say they can't afford to pay a high wage, you can't afford not to. The issue is that women don't get paid enough money, and they are caregivers of their families, they work. When we look at who's most in poverty, right, it is Black women, right, and their children.
Unfortunately, most women of color, particularly Black women, are relegated to those frontline service worker jobs. And so many times they are the last hired. They are the first to be underpaid.
Our wages are predatory. Our systems are designed in a way that there are failing families, and they're failing families so that they don't have the financial resources they need. They don't have the education opportunities for their kids. They don't have the ability to get to and from work because their cars may be broken down. So if women weren't making $7.25 an hour in these jobs that were not creating a pathway forward, they could dream about a future that they had the ability to design on their own.
Thursday, members of the Mississippi Black Women's Roundtable were at the state capitol placing pocketbooks in the seats of legislators. They were filled with materials to demonstrate the power of a woman's impact on the state's economy.
The reality is that if we actually had equal pay and we closed the wage gap in Mississippi, we would cut poverty in the entire state by half.
Mississippi did not pass a good equal pay law. And the thing we kept hearing was that the state of Mississippi doesn't need an equal pay law because there's a federal law. Well, we know that the federal law is just the floor. We wanted to raise the floor. So what the state of Mississippi did was they passed an equal pay law, and there's nothing equal about it. Women's pocketbooks have done more with less, and we still aren't closing those gaps. And so women's pocketbooks matter to Mississippi's economy and also to the local economy.
And so when we talk about federal policy, it's really how do we go about reforming our social safety net so where it's not punitive, so where it's not vouchers or subsidies, but more families have the cash resources that they need. But the other piece to this, how we go about playing the long game, is we have to get back to talking about advocacy and power building.
And so I want to see Mississippi be fair, be equitable. I want to see the women in the state of Mississippi, particularly Black women and girls. I want to see them free. My mother shouldn't have to have put me in that utility closet, but she did what she had to do. So I get the unique opportunity to walk in those hallways of the state capitol and demand that women in the state of Mississippi have higher wages, have access to child care, have paid leave, sick leave, have all those things. So I go and put a demand on that power with the people, and we are driving change.